It is very possible that you might be listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because
it is very possible.
We're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Brought to you by a lot of Old Tube radios. Old Tube radio operators tonight who will be sharing with us here in Central California their radios of choice tonight. Those glow-in-the-dark radios from 1958 to 1978 in the Class D 11-meter Citizen Band radio service. Hello, radio. To those tuning in, channel 1127-085 in Central Valley and everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Net web, and perhaps on the YouTube live video stream. I think I'm there. Let me say okay. I think I see myself here in the air chair tonight, getting ready to check in the listeners and listen to some radios and maybe impart some information and learn some cool stuff. Who knows what radios we might have tonight, if any. I think we will have a few. I've heard them tuning up. Anyway, my name is Dennis, your net control operator for the evening, and we will be hanging out for the next couple of hours to see how many of the classic Citizen Band tube radios we can have a dance across the radio here tonight. But we do start off with the directed net roll call, and let me give a shout out to 00 and see if Dave is out there.
00 checking.
All right, checking in and sounding good. I'm looking at the meters. I think we're good to go, so I'll get the 00 checked in. We'll also get you at the regular item of interest. A check-in also for SWL number 1, Mr. Dr. J, and I will also check in SWL number 2, Mr. OBP. Stop by the video chat and say hello to Mr. OBP. One of the guys who, ever so long ago, said, you know what, we need a special night. We need a special place for these tube radios to get on the air and talk and share information and just see what kind of awesomeness that we can muster up. And so 37 years later, here we are still doing it. Thanks, Kevin, for your thoughts on getting us started with that. Also a check-in for SWL number 3 from the internet style. Over to SWL 4, SWL 5, and before I go any further, any stations out there, mobile stations or stations that are in locations where they're going to freeze if they don't check in soon? Anybody need an early check-in?
Yeah, 77 checking in.
All right, we got a couple. Let me get 77 just in case he is not in the mobile radio when we get to him. Dennis, I got you and you're sounding good. And who was the other station?
650.
650. I know sometimes it gets later than you think. You're sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Had a long day at Bakersfield with the grandbaby and everything, but anyway, everybody, sevens to everybody out there, and have a great weekend, what's left of it. I'll see you guys Friday.
Okay, sounding good. Yeah, I remember you mentioned you were going to have a long day today. All right, thanks for checking in. Anybody else need a quick check-in before we get going here?
145.
Hey, Tony, I got the note, but I missed the net, but I got the questions. You are sounding good, and we've got you checked in. That's 145.
All right, thank you very much, Dennis.
All right, thanks, Tony. Thanks for listening. Anyone else before we continue?
24 needs to be checked in. I got to go to bed.
Yeah, it's later than you think, or it's earlier than you think. It depends how you look at it. 24, we've got you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. All right, I was on the directed net roll call. We were looking for SWL7.
Oh, good evening to one and all. This is SWL number 7.
K6BLF.
Wrapped around my tooth, couldn't see what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, no traffic. Thanks for checking me in.
Wow.
A little busy here.
2 days. Amazing. K6,
All right.
come by.
Got you checked in. You are sounding good. Hope all is well. And if you're in the radio room later on, we'll have a spot for you or spots for you on the Old Tube radio list.
I'll try to be there.
Let's see. We will continue with jump over to SWL10. And I saw Chrissy was in. I think they said they were at some remote location checking in. Might not be able to listen in all night, but Chrissy, if you're hearing me on the audio stream, we got you checked in. SWL, let's see, where are we going? 11? SWL 12? Shortwave listener 13. Well, my comments aren't working on that page, but I managed to get them fired up over on this page. So hopefully if you're checking in at oldtuberadio.net or leaving a comment, I will be able to see it. Looks like it's working. That's a good thing. Over to SWL 14. Shortwave listener 16, SWL 16, Charlie out of Anoka, Minnesota, who is definitely here in the complex, in the old, it's turning into the Old Tube Radio complex, thanks to Bob and Steve and the Costco card. And Charlie, I see out there, we have got a large, what is it, the ARRL something contest going on this weekend, so the bands are busy. 11 meters was roaring in. We had 30 dB over S9 signals at around 5 o'clock when it gets that late night before the gray line goes away. Also looking at, tonight up there in the balcony, the unknown SWL, Fresno, Kerman, Inez, Kentucky. Hello to, as always, to Woodland Park, Colorado, waiting for the skip to come in. It could be happening. We've got a lot of rain here in the Central Valley. I'm not sure what that'll do for our ground wave tonight or our static. We'll see what happens. Scotts Valley is in. Anoka, Belfast, and Louisville, Kentucky up here in the front row. Down in the orchestra pit, it looks like tonight. So hang out and you will hear some great radios. I guarantee it. Over to SWL 17. SWL 18 checked in via Facebook. And if you're playing the home game, Chad is reminding me to let people know, if you're playing the home game, you should be on week 8 of the 8-week roster, and we will be re-upping the list and maybe opening up some SWL positions next week. So in the meantime, let's put that X in the square out there in Derby, New York. Thanks, Chet. Your help here on the Old Tube Radio Network is always appreciated. Over to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Had to reach for this microphone. Okay. Check me in, please. And 29 and 54 from the radio boudoir. Yes, I'm in the bedroom.
All right, well, it's easier to take a nap and grab the microphonium, and you managed to grab the microphonium, and you are checked in.
All righty, we thank you.
And thank you. Where are we at? Page 1, direct-to-net roll call, SWL 21, backup on the Old Tube Radio Network. What did I say? A Saturday without the old radio night is like a Saturday without sunshine or moonshine or something. What was going on ORN tonight? Do I have? I'm looking to see. I thought I had a replay up here. Yeah, I'm just going to, let me turn it on. Let's just pick a spot. Let's pick a spot and see what's going on.
My chin. Postmaster, Melbourne, Australia, 21, working a shockwave. I'm gone.
Falling out on my end, but we'll be on you later. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend there. 115-65 in the milligrams. I'll see you.
He doesn't even break up a sweat.
Hey, 65. Hey, 65, we need some lip choppers out there. 65, 21.
There it is, old radio night. Doesn't even break up a sweat when he's running DX, and it was running big time hear it about that time. In fact, JT, I turned on Channel 12. I don't know what channel you were on, but I went over to Channel 12 to see if I could hear you guys.
Hampton County, I got you, no doubt. Knee high, 821 over here with the wave.
And you were so busy talking to the world that you probably didn't hear me. Well, I didn't hear you either, but anyway.
Knee high, good to hear you. Glad you got in there for old radio night. Hey, Knee High 21, I'm gone.
Make sure you check out Old Radio Night Saturday evenings before this particular program. JT has a super station. He has different radios each week, which he features, and he will, as you can hear, he will talk to you. Over to SWL 22. And SWL 23, checking in 23, looks like the Echo link is up. And as usual, I never know what part of it may or may not be up. So let me head over to this part of the radio room and see what will possibly be happening tonight here on the Echo link at 354. 870, I believe, is the node number, 354-870. If you can connect to that, we'll be able to chat with you quickly. So in the meantime, let me see what's happening over on the Echo link, and 23 Skidoo. Over. All right, well, I think that it is up, so give it a try. And if I see your call come up, we'll give you a call. SWL 24 checked in moments ago. SWL 25, I think he is out playing tonight. I'll give him a call. Hello, 25. Yeah, they are performing tonight somewhere until midnight up in the foothills. So maybe a lot of you are out there. We give Jerry a check-in. Head over to page 2, but before I do, I want to say hello, radio, to some of our other stations tuning in. One would be Mr. Mac and the gang are listening in from, dare I say it, from the Voodoo Laboratories. Looking a lot like that, listening in and wondering how it is that I can sound so good on one radio and not so good on another. But had a good chat with Mark and the group this morning and on 40 meters. The Voodoo radio is working well. The bands are great all the way up and down. And thanks for joining us where, I don't know if it's snowing there or not. It stopped raining here, and it is very cold and chilly outside. So let's see, where are we going? Oh, page 2, SWL 27.
27's checking in live from Studio G with one burner burning on Mr. Heater.
Yeah, this is at least a one burner night tonight. So hopefully you are, keeping the finals warm, running some FT8, and you're sounding good on the old Tube Radio Network. We have you checked in.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, and Charlie is confirming that 11 meters was up and running just about everywhere. It was good. You hear those 20 over, 30 over signals, and you realize that is not just somebody down the street. They're somewhere else, and you bet they're not running 5 watts. SWL 28 is in the house tonight, I think. Hello, Gary. Yeah, he's checking in. His special guest tonight, Chonita, the feather dancer, and Sean, Mr. Flamingo. So Chonita and Sean dancing. You may see them dancing somewhere in the studios tonight. If you do, I don't know about Chonita, but Mr. Sean, Mr. Flamingo probably does like a little bit of popcorn. So throw some popcorn out that way. Over to SWL 29, I got a proxy check-in for Mr. Loner. SWL 30, Dwayne, Mr. RFI has the Browning Eagle ready and the Robin ready just in case. There's some extended signals heading out that way tonight over to SWL 31. And I see the boys from Squamish have arrived up in the balcony. They're setting up right now with the popcorn and the barbecue. So if you can't make it down to the main drag here in the green room, just stay right up there, and they will take care of you for sure.
Barbecue?
Yeah, did someone say BBQ? Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, the SWLs. I can't get my number to light up. There we go. And a honk of the proboscis lets me know that everything is A-OK. Let's see, who's next? SWL 34, Jimmy, Little Toot, and the gang over there in Batavia. And the break OTR, go ahead.
Yeah, this is 61. Can I get an early check-in and dispatch Ron if he doesn't make it in tonight?
Yeah, 61, you are checked in, and I talked to Ron earlier, so I'll get him checked in if he doesn't show up at the right time. So stay warm, and you're sounding good. We got you checked in, 61. All right, Copenhagen there. Dean sounding good on sounds like the mobile radio tonight. Over to SWL 35, and I just checked my list, and from storming Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight, or I should say snowy and storming Cheyenne, Mr. Bill is checking in. From Red Monkey Communications, thank you, Mr. Bill. Let's see, Peoria, Arizona. SWL 36. I wonder if Jerry is out there listening. No doubt working on some radios. Over to SWL 37.
37 here, Dennis, and good evening.
Hello, radio. Good evening. You are sounding good. I hope all is well there. If it's movie night, you should have the popcorn ready, and I hope it's something good.
Oh, of course, always something good, or else I wouldn't be watching it. But yeah, no, we just got back, ate dinner, come home. One of the neighbor had supper, so yeah, hey. I don't know what else to say, except I'm here. I will do my best to stay at it if I can. Get back in here and check in the radio when it comes that time. Maybe a little bit late. But just in case Larry don't check in, he asked me to check him in. You might have been out there last night when he said it, so just in case, put him down for an proxy.
All right, I will do that. In fact, he was on just moments ago on the crossband chatting, so I know he is out there listening. Thanks, Chris.
All right, Dennis.
All right, SWL 38, representing the good town of Byron, California. Sam, if you're out there, we're going to get you checked in. Also, Dr. Dan, SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40 checking in. And I'll try to get a radio in tonight. It all depends on the situation.
All right, well, hopefully things are not burning down over there.
Yeah. Well, we had the Chinese New Year dragon come through and bless everything, so everything is back to normal.
Okay, it's better to have a Chinese dragon at your radio station than a mud duck. Things are going well. You are sounding good. We've got you checked in. Charlie Alpha Tango, who I think just came off a nap, is joining us here for a while, and all is well.
Oh, by the way, your signal isn't just quite as strong. I'm only getting you with 10 over, usually a 20 over, so not sure what's going on there.
All right, probably my very horrible antenna did not like the rain or something like that. Let me also make sure that I'm on. Speaking of antennas, well, there's the problem. Well, there's your problem. The SWR is sky high. And why is that? Oh, you know what? Hold on. And now we still have a problem. All right, we're doing a little technical adjustments on the air here. First off, let's not break anything. And secondly, let's rotate some controls, shall we? All right. Well, I don't know. Did that do anything?
Towards the end it did.
Yeah, because I turned the right knob over.
Yeah, it's a little better now. You got another a bar out of my radio.
Yeah, well, this is the happy hour. We want as many bars as we can get. Well, that's what happens when you have an SWR that is not where it should be. And I probably got a little too much audio, too. So it's technical stuff. The best thing to do is get yourself one of those, and I've heard about them on the Old Tube Radio Network, one of those Old Tube radios. All right, thanks, Larry. We've got you tuned in, and maybe we've got me dialed in.
Okay, great.
You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. Talking about the classic tube radios on your Class D 11-meter Citizen Band radio service from 1958 to 1978. When they were actually making them, we will have some of those great stations stopping by tonight. Right now, we're in the direct-to-net roll call, our shortwave listeners who themselves may have an old tube radio. But remember, you don't have to have a radio or a tube radio or do anything to participate here in OTR. Just listen in and have a good time, as we have been doing for the last 37 or so years. Trying to anyway. Over to SWL 41.
K6VLF.
All right, and if I get the right screen, I can say hello, radio. 41, Road Dog 507 is checking in from New York, where it's later than you think. 2 International Sideband 507 from the Hudson Valley, saying good evening to everyone, and likewise, good evening, sir. Thanks for checking in. And a station I chatted with on the 2-meter crossband, and he's probably out there somewhere, SWL 42. And I will get Jerry checked in as well. Over to SWL 43. And I got Crazy Eddie checked in as well. SWL 44. All right, I'm balancing between a Charlie Alpha Tango, a J38 key, papers, and a keyboard. I'm going to evolve a third arm at any moment here. Let's go over to SWL 45. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Dennis. 45 here. I can't keep in my iPad. It's got a bummer. It's got a problem there, or is it my end?
Oh, well, it's, let me see. I think I put up the right, if you click on it thing, it says March, so that's good. And I don't know, I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to put up the right, if you click on it thing, it says March. So there's the replay. Good. And so I'm going to say check your iPad or check your internet there, Paul. Over.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of missed the iPad, but I can still hear you. You're sounding good.
All right, yeah. So it looks like we are beaconing on the Universal Media NetWeb. You are sounding good. I know my signal might be a little bit down, but you are sounding stellar. Thanks for stopping by.
Great. You're going to like the radio tonight. Back to you.
All right, back to me in the studio. And, yeah, we like all those radios, and I am looking forward to that here on OTR. We're on page 2, direct-to-net roll call. If you're playing the home game, looking for SWL 46. I'm going to get 46 a check-in. I heard him last night on the Ditchbanks sideband net. Over to SWL 47. SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. SWL 50. Checked in is 00 from somewhere near Sangertown. Hello, Dave, SWL 51. SWL 52. And shortwave listener 53. And let's see, a couple people saying hello to Mr. Charlie Alpha Tango, Jose, and X3995, right? All right. Well, Charlie Alpha Tango it was just too cold outside, I think. It's just cold out there. And he's saying, I would rather just take a nap on your lap, but you're jumping around and there's too much junk. So in the meantime, he's just hanging out here, just being as bored as ever. All right, where are we going? Over to, I'm turning the page. SWL 53. All right, SWL 54 has got to check in. Let's try SWL 55.
Breaker.
Hello, Breaker, over.
Yeah, I don't know if you got Bob checked in 53, but let's proxy Bob in.
All right, I will do that. I don't remember. I don't think he checked in early, but we're getting him checked in now. No problem. The legend with an X in the square. Thanks.
Thank you.
Get back to the right page here. We are now on page 3. SWL 55, I called. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. This is SWL 56, just for kicks.
Hey, Phil, you are sounding good, and we have got you checked in. Thanks. Heading over to Central Kentucky for SWL 57. And let's see, who else? Oh, hey, one nice voice. Uncle Gunter is in, saying good morning from the German frontier. I suppose if you've been listening on your 100 watts and a wire, sir, that you are hearing some U.S. stateside stations. The band has been pretty darn good. So thanks for jumping in with us tonight, where it is early Sunday morning and late Saturday evening here on the west coast of California. Looking good, and Cycle 25 in good shape. Over to SWL 58. I will get Jeremy checked in. SWL 59, and Uncle Hairball is right there, saying hello, radio, checking in. 786 Ironman, South Kakalaki. It's reading the mail and standing by for some conditions to just about anywhere. Like they say, calling CQ for any station, anywhere. All right, Uncle Hairball, we got you. Let's go over to SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to all the fellas. SWL 60, checking in.
60. Hello, Joe. Hustler is looking good, and the X in the square is checked right now. S61, Copenhagen checked in from the mobile. SWL 62, KD out of KD out of ND. SWL 63. I'll get Butterbean checked in. I bet he was out on ORN tonight. Over to SWL 64. Shortwave listener 65. SWL 66. SWL 67, Bill has been having trouble with internet connections and the like. So I'll get to Bill checked in up there in Canby, Oregon. SWL 62, all right. I'm slow on the draw here there, KD. King Duckford is in. And 62, where are you? let me get you. Let me get the right number up here. All right, we'll get back in order. Thank you. And let's see, been working portable the last couple of weeks. That's Uncle Gunter saying he's got 9 hours of sunshine every day, but pretty chilly outside. Well, what is it, 45 here now? So I'm not sure how. That's chilly for us here on the West Coast. Worked a lot of North America, Canadian stations on the new bands. 17 and 15 are great bands these days. I'll agree, 17 is good. If you're not into the contesting, of course, 17 is pretty good. But it gets busy when there's a big contest on. The non-contesters get on 17, and the band being kind of narrow, it's hard to find a place to sneak in there, but it's fun to listen in. Let's head over to SWL 68. Michael. I think he's checking in from New York 157. Let's head over to Kenny in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who just might be watching us right now. Hello, Kenny. I hope you're doing well, and we do have you checked in. We'll look for your thumbs up on the video replay. All right, in the mid-40s and down to 28 at night. All right, well, actually, your daytime temperatures are more like our nighttime temperatures here in Central California. Getting a check-in for SWL 70. He's going to have the station down for a little while as he relocates the QTH, and I'll be very curious to see when he gets into the new digs how the signal plays. I've got my comments on a different screen, so you see me grabbing the wrong mouse to try and find the contacts here. Over to SWL 71. Stan's in Dallas, Georgia, and he's checking in right now. Probably was listening in, did some contesting today. Stan, I hope all is going well. I was hearing a lot of 4 calls in the contest this afternoon. Over to SWL 72. SWL 73. Mr. M.I., I'm getting John checked, and we had a good chat last night. We were on 2 meters, and then some of us here locally went down to 75 meters, checking out our antennas. And John was sounding pretty good. I think I was hearing mostly ground wave, but doing a good job. If you're listening, John, we got you checked in 73. SWL 74, we'll get Miss Jilly checked in. SWL 75. SWL 76. That's Raccoon Radio Ranch. I didn't see Raccoon out there, I don't think. And Levon, hello, waving a hand from Hudson Valley. And Sam is in there. All right, he was trying us direct. Yeah, I think we need that short, sort of like ducting E-skip to get into Central California. But thanks for giving it a shot. We have some stations out there that have some great receivers, so if you're ever going to make it in, somebody will hear you. So let me click your number up there, Sam, and you are checked in from beautiful Byron. Let's see, we were looking for 76, but I'll take 52. Aaron's checking in on the Roger radio. Let's see, that's back over on, where are you? You're page 2. SWL 77. If you're out there, Dennis, take a transmission. All right, he checked in early because I think it got a little bit too chilly out in the mobile. Let's see, we are looking for SWL 78, Richard and Wild Wildemar. I think I heard you on one of the nets. I want to say 7242 or 7248, so I didn't jump in to say hi, but you're putting in a really big signal here the other day into Central California, so sounding good. And Levon is doing his his Saturday night his impersonation of Johnny Carson and the crew over there. You do a good Ed McMahon, Levon. Over to SWL 79. I'll get Mr. DC checked in. He helped me with some audio earlier. Over to SWL 80. And let me check in. Let me see what's going on. I think Bob and Steve are here today. Those guys never take a break. They always make sure that OTR is up and running and ready to go. Let's see what they're doing.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
And whoopee it is tonight. Let me do something. I can expand the screen just a little bit. Yeah, episode 105 of the Bob and Steve show. They found at the flea market. Flea market's always a good place to find stuff. Probably better than eBay. Maybe not as good as the thrift store. What they found were 2 Johnson CB radios, a white face, and a black face with a +2 microphonium, and a Heathkit dummy load. Well, that's a good thing to find. Palomar watt meter, big swing SWR bridge, all working on channel 11. Put them in the green room lounge for all to see. I saw them up there on the nice little display table that you had put out. The poker games went well on Wednesday night. The tables were full and all are welcome. Of course, had to get a bigger fish tank on the Costco card. You know, that's because we keep feeding those doggone fish. I mean, wouldn't feed them so much. Wouldn't need to get the fish tank. I don't know where they sell the fish tanks. I don't think I've seen those at Costco. But then again, that's a big place. It's hard to see everything when you go in. And then you don't want to, because then you're spending $1,000 on the way out. They set it up over the bar with lights. Looks great. Yeah, do not dip your drink cup into the fish tank by mistake. And if you do, we will give you a ride home in the limousine. At the bar tonight from Alaska, the Nat Shack Valdez Alaska Halibut Dinner. I think I said that correctly. With all the trimmings, and I don't know what the trimmings would be for a halibut dinner, but I bet they're pretty good. And, of course, Bob and Steve being the gentlemen they are, the beer is on them tonight. So pick your favorite and don't be ashamed. And as they say here on the Old Tube Radio Network and everywhere else, don't forget to feed the fish.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
All right, we're getting Steve Areno checked in, SWL 81. Over to Mr. Bones, SWL 82.
82, check it in from the ditch banks of Iowa. Good evening, everybody.
All right, good evening. Sounding good? Yeah, the audio isn't that bad on that radio, but, you know, a little tweak here and there. You never know what it will do. Too bad. I'm assuming that whatever you might have done got canceled or was rained out or whatever, but we're glad you're joining us here on the Old Tube Radio tonight, Saturday night. On Friday nights, rewind 24 hours to 8 p.m. Fridays, and move up the band a little bit to channel 36 on your lower side band dial, and you will hear that gentleman, Mr. Bones, on his very nice sounding sideband radio for the Ditch Banks sideband net for a roll call. And after the roll call, you take any and all check-ins, right, Ron?
That's right. All guests, late, missed, you name it, we'll take it. So, yeah, come over on 36 floor sideband, 8 o'clock Friday, and join us, and maybe chit-chat after the net.
Yeah, always have a good time after the net, checking out your sideband radio antennas or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to talk about. It's a good time is had by all on the Friday night Ditch Banks sideband net, and if the band is open, we will catch signals from afar. Thanks, Ron.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
Over we go to SWL 83. And SWL 84, let me get Jerry checked in. He was doing the net. Boy, the conditions were on 40 meters early. I was just barely hearing him. He's just down the road, but that's 40 meters. Turning on, illuminating. There it is. Behind me there, the SWL 84, the Mountain Maid. It's the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. Back on the table there, sounding. And speaking of the Mountain Maid, let's get in a check-in for SWL 86, the Tandy Girl 87, and Snowy Owl 88. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 91. Felix getting our video started tonight. I always know if I've pressed the right buttons on that particular thing, because Felix pops right up and says, "Hello, radio." There you are. So I got you checked in, Felix. Hope it's not too cold out there in N2 land. Let's see who else is listening in. X or beaconing in on the YouTube side. Glad to have you along this evening. And let's see. And I've got a window that just popped up that says, Windows detected a hard disk problem. Okay, so if it all crashes, you know why. The hard disk just couldn't make it through. So we'll hope that is not going to affect anything. Over to SWL 92. Maybe time for one of those solid-state drives, don't you think? Over to SWL 93. SWL 94. Shortwave listener 95. And there is Warthog 95 checking in from Orlando, Florida, of course. I'm trying to think if I heard any Florida stations. I was hearing fours, but I'm not exactly sure where they were all from. But we have Florida on right now. Thank you. Thank you there, 95. We've got you checked in. Checking in earlier, SWL 96, Dennis out of Kerman.
I'm checking in again now, Dennis. Just wanted to be on here.
Hey, okay, you're sounding good. I wasn't sure if you needed early or if you'd be out there, but you're making it here into central Fresno sounding good.
Okay, Dennis, you sound good out here, too.
All right, likewise. Yeah, we got nice, quiet local conditions. And, yeah, I might not have a stellar signal, but you're doing great. So, got you checked in. Thanks, Dana. Over to shortwave listener 97, Jim in Boston. Make sure I didn't miss him on the list here. We'll say hello to John Juliet Whiskey in Iowa, saying hello. Radio KJG 4755 from KEO 8492. I'm still looking for my original license. I'm sure it's in my, 1970 logbook somewhere in a box that I haven't opened up in 40 years. Got you checked in. Over to Tracy. You sounded good on the net last night, Tracy. You probably can't hear me direct, but I see you on the net, and we will get you checked in. So I know you got a lot of noise. Let's try Robert, SWL 99.
Go ahead and proxy Robert in.
All right, I will do that. Also, proxy in, looking for McClellanville Tony. Sometimes he jumps in on the Echo Link or on the other item here, so I'll get him proxied in. Also wanted to make a comment. Who was it that noticed the microphonium is... Oh, Levon, yeah, he says it doesn't look like the PR40. No, it doesn't, because the PR40... Let me scoot over here. The PR40 is right here. That's what the PR40 looks like. But I substituted it for the Electra Voice, and this is a good microphone, by the way. Do not think that this is not a good microphone, and the Heil PR40 is good. Put it back in a safe spot there. But I substituted, and this is on loan from the FM. Now my chair is breaking. From the FM radio station where I work. It is, something that wasn't being used. So I thought, let me borrow. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Let me borrow this for a moment or two, and it fits nicely into the Heil PRM shock mount. It has the couple of roll-offs. Sounds pretty good. The the RE27ND, and that stands for no ducks, no mud ducks here. So we're testing that out. Worked good. My repop filter that worked on the PR40 is actually made for this microphone and works well on that. So thanks for asking. You never turn down an opportunity to talk about the audio here. Okay, 100 is checked in. Next, we go over to, and he has been waiting a bit, John, SWL 102 is out there saying hello, radio. Thanks for joining us tonight. Uncle Gunter, I agree. I think this has a slight edge. Over to the PR40, but you still got to EQ the doggone thing to make it play on the various radios. And the microphonium that I wanted to borrow, which was stuck in the control room, was the Neumann U87. But Net Control is probably not going to get to put that one on the desk here at any time soon. Wouldn't that be Uptown Radio? Looking for SWL 103. And over to shortwave listener 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, 109 sounding good on the sideband Ditch Banks net and also here on AM modulation. 109, Mr. Crawdad, thank you for checking in.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
All right, Mr. Crawdad up in Albury has one of those awesome stations, and he can check in just about anywhere at any time to any net and be heard without a problem. Let's go over to SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert, I saw the message. All looks good. Good news is a good thing, and I'm glad you're getting a lot of it, so we've got you checked in. Let's see, did I mention that in moments we will be talking to and checking in and checking out those glow-in-the-dark radios on your 11-meter Citizen Band radio service, so stay tuned. Over to SWL 113. He checked in last night on Ditch Banks net. I could not hear him. Normally I can hear him, and he also checks in on the early risers net, so if you're listening out of Sanger Tom and I'm mud ducking, we'll get you checked in. Here's a station that is never wanting for the duck of mud. SWL 114. Hello, Wayne.
114, checking in.
All right, checking in and checked in. Thanks for stopping by OTR tonight.
Thank you for the check-in.
Then we jump up to SWL 128. And that is John in Fairfax, Virginia. Let me see if he's stopped by. Yeah, I came in earlier, checking in. 10 meters was pretty active today. Yeah, it was. I even heard stations above, 28.499. They were up at 28.5 doing the contest. I even called CQ on 10 meter AM at 29.030 and with nary a response. I wasn't hearing any FM, so all the conditions were down a little bit lower. Unfortunately, due to ongoing power line noise, receiver is very limited. I know how that is. I'm having the same thing on some type of a timer that comes on, and it does go off, but then it comes back again. So hope you find the power line noise, or whatever the noise is, you can track it down, or maybe a rain or a wind will come up and knock it down, because I know what did we used to say in the 70s? I know what a bummer that is. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. No power line noise on the internet. Maybe just a lot of slowness, though. I guess that's the equivalent. SWL 131, Mr. Rude checked in early. SWL 133.
Good evening, Dennis. 133 checking in.
All right, Dave, sounding good. Good signal here into Midtown this evening, and I will check you in with the X and the Square. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Then we are heading over to shortwave listener 135. Hello, Cliff. And he was testing some radio, so I expect to hear him on a various and sundry radio item glowing in the dark. In fact, maybe he's installing it somewhere right now.
Hello.
Hello, radio.
Did I not make it in time? SWL 135 checking in.
Hey, the spotlight is on you right now, believe it or not. So the X is in the Square on the roll call, and we might have a spot for you on the tube radio list as well.
I hope so. See you then.
Okay, we are directed net roll call. Levon says, say that again. Oh, say that number again. What number? What number was I? What number was I talking about? I'm not sure. We got a lot of numbers. If somebody wanted the number for the Echo-Link, I could remember that one. 354870. 354870 is Echo-Link node. Let's go over to SWL 137. Got a proxy in for 137. SWL 145, Tony checked in earlier from Course Gold. SWL 147, and Neil is in the house, and he checked in a bit earlier on my screen of screens, letting us know that there are good conditions on the East Coast, everywhere it appears. Contacts on 11 meters and 10 meters from all over. Europe on 10 meters in the morning. Spring weather in the 70s and 80s. Well, okay. I don't know how long that'll last. I think we're sending some chilly stuff your way, but do enjoy it because, spring is just around the corner. Let's go to SWL 188. See, Bobby he's got the big beam. He probably doesn't know that the skip is gone because he's still working it on the Gizmochi. Oh, the microphone. All right, yes, and 23 Skidoo. So the microphonium number is the RE27ND, and I think that stands for the neodymium, the type of magnet stuff that's inside, but it's the 27ND, or as they say, that stands for no ducks. No mud ducks when you run that radio. That microphone. Let's go over to SWL 195. Hello, Jim up in Course Gold. Over.
Good evening there, Dennis. 195 checking in, and you're sounding good.
Yeah, I think we've got some good ground wave. Your signal is good. The audio is good, so we've got the air is certainly clear. And a nice little wet ground to help our ground wave. Very nice. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis. And from here, it's all downhill.
It's all down. And he's not kidding, folks. It is all downhill between his station and my station. He's up in the foothills to the north and east of net control. Let's go over to SWL 226 Shockwave. And I'll get Jeffrey checked in. Anybody else? Any stations I missed, or anybody want to jump in and say hello, radio, before I get out of the chair and put a bunch of plugs in so we can check in the tube radios? All right, so far so good. I haven't blown anything up. The hard drive hasn't crashed, so stand by. We're setting up for your favorite, my favorite part of the net, which is where the radios stop by. The fins and chrome of radio from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. If you've got one and it works, fire it up, won't you? And we'll see you in a couple of minutes on the Old Tube Radio Network. Well, as they say, like it or not, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TVs, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
It's that Old Tube Radio Network thing again. Your favorite place to be on a Saturday for tuning in and turning on and listening to the classic tube radios from Class D 11-meter Citizen Band radio service. 1958. Somewhere at the end of 1958, the FCC banged the gavel or whatever they do and said, yes, there will be a 11-meter Class D Citizen Band radio service, and immediately there were some radios ready to go. We've had a few of those stop by in our 37 years, and there was a whole bunch more to follow throughout the years till about 1978, and we've had a lot of those checked in as well. Hopefully to hear, we'll be hearing your radio tonight, and we're standing by listening, waiting for check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Number 7.
135. 135.
All right, we've got 3 radios, and we'll take them in order that I heard them. SWL7, that's Mr. Ed, will be stepping up into the air chair. We'll see what he has to offer here at 9:01 Pacific Standard Time. Radio number 2 will be heading over to Cliff, who is somewhere possibly in the radio lounge tonight with a radio. And then we'll be heading up the hill for Radio 3 for Paul, the Falcon up in North Fork. So thanks for your efforts and radios tonight. We'll be chatting with you in just a little bit. So hello, Ed.
And hello, Dennis and the OTR crew. This time, the Tram TR27E, the big green machine.
All right, the big green machine, the Tram TR27 Echo. I've got a shot of that. I know from past experience it is indeed the radio on which you are talking, so it's always nice to not only hear but check out the radio as we are listening to it. And now Ed has his amateur radio license, so do you have a separate area for the older radios and the newer radios, or a separate area for the 11-meter radios and the ham radios, or can you combine them all on the same desk?
Well, I've actually got a couple of desks here. I've got one in the corner, which has the ham radio gear, which is on my left-hand side, including the amp, which is in the middle, the computer screen there in the middle. And on the right-hand side, I have the Tram, and also the Eagle, Johnson, and a couple other radios on the other little desk there. And all the tube stuff's on the right-hand side.
Okay, so don't get confused, or if you do, you've at least got a radio to talk on. And we're glad this one is somewhere near an antenna port. On Saturday evenings, the Tram TR27E from, I do believe, 1963. I have, for those who are at oldtuberadio.net or watching or will be watching the video, there is an advertisement we have. Let me see if I can sneak it in. Yeah, sneak it in, the item here. Another step forward in CB communications, the Tram TR27E base station with 70% or better transmitter efficiency, provides 3.5 watts guaranteed minimum RF output with 100% high-level modulation. A keyed compression. Did you know you have a keyed compression base station?
No, I did not.
All right, well, that's what it says. The cabinet now has an extra durable wrinkle finish. Does your cabinet have an extra durable wrinkle finish?
It most definitely does have the original wrinkle finish.
Wow, and it's extra durable. I guess if you leave the thing out in the rain or something. The 23-channel selector switch carries the channel number illuminated in the panel. So obviously somewhere there's an 11.
Yes, there is. There's 11 on the little tiny one for the transmitting channel, and of course, a little bit bigger window for the receive.
Okay, and we'll try this one out. I think I can do it live here. Yeah. Okay. And it says adjacent channel rejection is improved by approximately 5 dB. I'm going to go to the adjacent channel. I'm not going to unkey. And tell me if I drop by 5 dB. Test, radio test, OTR. And then back to 27085. Did I go 5 dB down?
Yeah, at least 5 dB down. You almost faded into nothing.
Okay. Well, that is good. That's something I should do on the Tram TR27E base station. Take another transmission while I stop being silly.
All right. Well, and this one is definitely putting out a wee bit more. Whoever did the tune-up job on this one before I got it, definitely I think it's got it pushed a little bit because it's pushing peak envelope power close to 30.
It sounds good. And they're having a debate over on the chat, over in the chat window. So if you wouldn't mind, and I don't want to embarrass you. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Could you say, I guess it's the standard 11-meter test. Could you just say audio maybe a few times in the microphone just to see if we can hear you better?
Audio, and audio.
All right, said like a true 11-meter radio operator. I like the way you do it. It's not overdone. It gets the point across, and we can tell that the radio is working. That radio, the Tram TR27E from Tram Corporation. Let me see. Where is Tram? It says right here in Winnisquam, New Hampshire 03289, and the telephone number. I won't give it out. I should call that and see who answers the phone. I don't know if it will be anybody at Tram. Or you could send something to P.O. Box 187, Department 10A, and see how long it takes to come back to you. Take one more transmission. Thanks for bringing the radio by tonight. It's Radio 1 on the list.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dennis. Man, the noise came up here just right at 9 o'clock, so I may not be back, but I'll try to at least get one more radio in. With that, 73s to all the SWLs.
All right, thanks for stopping by. You got one on the list, and isn't that noise, we were talking about that earlier, isn't that noise, as we said in the 70s, a big bummer? Thanks for your radio. Going to radio number 2. Radio number 2 at 907 should be from Cliff, sometimes known as the Green Arrow. Hello, radio.
Hello, radio. Okay, it appears to be working. Yes, this is SWL 135 on my round-the-world radio. It is green, as is the microphone. It was originated in Japan, made its way across the seas to Canada, where it was imported by Cardone Import Company Limited, and it's made its way here to Fresno, California. This is the Spitfire Mark XL or Mark 40. You decide.
Wow, all right. I happen to have a picture, and how about the joy of joys? Just like the other radio, I have a shot, a photo, as it were, thanks to you, of the radio on which you are talking. So let me bring that up. Oh boy, that is green. I think that is even more green than any of the robins, even though if you were to look inside, it might look a lot like a robin. Over.
Yeah, as far as the case is concerned, I would have to say yeah, but no, it does not have green inserts. Those are black inserts on the knobs, but it's still very green, and so is the microphone. Thanks to Harvey, you're listening to me on an Astatic 200S in deep dark emerald green. And it appears to be working. This is the 40-channel radio. If you've got the picture up there, you might see the LED displays, which is probably on channel 11. But this does all 40 channels at the time. So I'm not sure what year it was made. I don't know if you got any info on that, find out what year this was made. But it must have been during the 40-channel revolution. The range expand is on, and the mic gain knob is cranked all the way to the right. This is an unamplified static microphone, so this is the best it will do, until I maybe get some amplification on it. Back to you.
Okay, doesn't need amplification. I would say you're not 100% modulated, but it's nice and mellow. It sounds just like you. Doesn't have any artifacts of, too much Winchester Cathedral or too much suffering succotash. It is good. I'm not sure if your mod light is winking and blinking. You are correct about channel 11 in the display window. You are correct about 40-channel citizen band transceiver across the top of the radio. And we're showing it with an older style microphone, which I would think maybe is not the original one. It's the teardrop shape. You are using the Astatic, which I don't think is the same one, but it's playing well. This should be probably late 1976, and I'm assuming they probably made them for a couple of years, but this would be the Panasonic chassis that had the 40-channel extension. As you said, made in Japan, but it was imported to Canada. I know sometimes the early Canadian channel spacings were a little bit different. As it was, I think, at the Gonset, it'll say 27085, but it doesn't show channel 11. Obviously, your channel 11 is, or their channel 11 is our channel 11. And thanks to our historian, 23 Skidoo, he says the first advertising that he's noticed for that particular radio says January of 1978. And so it could be the last 40-channel radio that Panasonic released in that form. Over.
Yeah, could be. And a lot of people say, and I agree, it looks an awful lot like a radio that I think should be behind your head. The Yellowbird Executive by Robin. It's a very similar radio electronically for sure. A little bit different, of course, on the cosmetics, but I think it's kind of their version of that radio. What do you think?
I think you are correct, and it looks like the deluxe version. It doesn't have all the the buttons for the PA and the CB, and I think there's an external speaker that's on the Yellowbird, but you've got all the lights. In fact, the lights look like they're even done a little bit bigger, more rather than just a dot. It looks like a big jewel, the transmit, the receive, the mod, and what is that, PA? But anyway, and plus it's got the range expand, so very deluxe. I'm going to do a close-up here because it says a product of Cardone Import Company Ltd, and hence the name Spitfire by Cardon. I have to do some more research into what Cardone did. The Mark XL, yeah, is it XL or is it 40? Who knows? But it does sound impressive. The name sounds impressive, and the radio itself sounds impressive. Take a transmission. I'll do a zero beat, find out where the crystals are, or maybe the synthesizer is hanging out.
Yeah, it should be just about. My freaky cutter.
270850.
So I'll assume at least I'm close enough to be within the bandwidth. And, the pictured mic. That was the first mic that Harvey wired up for me for it. That's a Turner 350, your basic one each. You see them all unamplified Turner 350 handheld type microphone. But as I say, it now has extra. It comes with extra green for the March time of year, and it's the aesthetic. I got to look these up sometime because I'm not really familiar with them, but it's an aesthetic 200S, as in sibilance. Back to you. How close am I?
Not bad. 2708485586. So just below 100 hertz to the low side. And I missed this. And thanks to 23 Skidoo, pointed this glaring thing out that makes it different than the 240D. And I'm not sure any of the other Panasonics had this option. And if you go to your knobs, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the center, you have a mic gain, which does not exist on the 240D. It's an RF gain on that radio. So they swapped the RF gain out from mic gain. So somebody probably thought most people, and this is a toss-up to me. I'd like to have a mic gain, but I also like to have an RF gain. And the fact that they were able to use that, port in the radio to figure out which one to put in is pretty cool. So you've got a mic gain rather than an RF gain, over.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of strange, too. Let me do the range expand thing here real quick. The switches have been cleaned. So this should actually function. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And range expand is off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Range expand is back on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll have to let me know if that made any difference. Yeah, I thought that was strange. I have the mic gain cranked all the way up. Range expand is on. And there is no provision for RF. Like sometimes they'll have a distance local switch or something like that, or in RF, an actual RF gain knob. This has nothing. If you can't hear, you're out of luck. But they did go to all the trouble of putting a delta tune and a mic gain knob on there. Pretty strange, eh?
Pretty strange, but they had a lot of options on that radio that either made it or didn't make it, depending on which version you've got of that Panasonic chassis, where like the Gemtronic seemed to be kind of sparse, and the Robin seemed to have every button and knob on it. So, interesting. 1978, so a later version. So maybe by the time that Cardone got a hold of it and imported it around, and this is how it looked, things were hopping in Canada. So still sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like it's probably internally set up for a very excessive gained microphone, because like you said, you've got the range expand on and the mic gain all the way up. Of course, your microphone isn't amplified, but still sounds good. Nice and smooth. The range expand did what it did. It dropped it. I had the Orban meter on, and you could hear it. You could see it drop, and it also takes a little bit of low frequencies out. So good deal. All right, back to you for transmission. Thank you. We're going to be heading over to Paul up on the hill, but wanted to take a little bit of time with this radio that typically probably wouldn't have been sold in the USA, but obviously made their way down to the States here.
No, thanks for letting me check it in. The first in the series of green radios for March. There will be more later, but tonight later on I'm going to try something else that Harvey and I worked on this afternoon. To see if that microphone situation has been corrected to some degree. I'll wait till later for that, and hopefully you can give me some some idea of how that one is working. Until then, we'll see you later, and thanks.
Hey, and thank you. And here's something to think about. The mic gain challenge from 23 Skidoo, who notes that there were 5 Panasonics with mic gain controls. 2 were the Cardone Spitfires, which we just saw, thanks to Cliff. And so there were 5. That's 2. So the challenge goes, what were the other 3 Panasonic chassis radios? The other 3 Panasonic radios that included a microphone gain. So was it something from the 60s, late 60s, one of the later 70s radios? The Cardones had the mic gain rather than RF, but there were other Panasonic chassis. So think about that. If you've got a suggestion or something and you're on the screen, type it out. Break in here and we'll see probably later on the end of the net who had the mic gain control. I've got a couple of thoughts on that, but I won't say right now. Thanks for radio number 2, the Cardone Spitfire Mark X. I need to have the reverb going when I say that. Cardone Spitfire Mark XL. Thanks for bringing it by. And Paul, are you still listening up there in North Fork? Over.
Yeah. Even got the iPad workers yet. How great it is. I want to check in my Helicrafter CB1.
Ooh, and I hope Cliff is listening, because he's one of the other few people in the USA that probably have that radio. Really cool. You know I love Helicrafters. The Jingle Singers. No, I'm putting the Jingle Singers on hold. They're at the microphone. You can take a break. Go get some beer at Bob and Steve. I want to get this Helicrafters checked in. I want to, if anybody can't stay up late, I hope they can get a shot, listen to this radio. The CB1, I think, crafted from either a Kier case or one of Helicrafters' cases that they did something else in, but this sort of looks like the case they put in an amateur radio. They called it a Kier, but they were able to secretly hide a 11-meter Class D radio in there. Let me get the other full shot. All right, over to you, Paul. I've got lots of questions about the microphone, the Magic Eye, but it sounds good. Take a transmission.
Glad we had a quiet night tonight. One reason I'm sick of these older ones. This thing got the Magic Eye in it, as you know, and you've got to key the microphone down, as you see in the picture there. Key it down, and that'll bring it on, and you talk into the mic. That's all there is to it. Really a neat old radio, I'll tell you. This thing has all the Helicrafters tubes in it. Not sure if they're, the factory ones or not, but just nice to see them all in there. Not any mixed in between the things. And also this thing only runs on 1 voltage. So it's got to be non-mobile amp completely. You have to have 115 volts to make it work. So it's just a real neat old radio. Back to you.
Very neat. I think Helicrafters just decided to jump in and pulled some stuff off the shelf. They were already making very good AM and sideband transmitters for amateur radio. They made televisions. Like E.F. Johnson, was it George Halligan? Another one of those crafter guys that got in early and just made all sorts of cool stuff, got in military contracts, sort of like Art Collins. Hallicrafters, a great story. And I've got a lot of Hallicrafters gear. I want to say 1959. I'm looking for 1959, and it does say 115-volt AC before they went mobile. And this has 11 tubes. I think their later radios, like the CB3A, went down to 7 or 8 tubes. Part of the fact is it still has a rectifier tube, a 5Y3GT, which, most of the other radios solid-stated. Also, it's got the extra tube, the 6E5. That's the modulation magic eye tube. So that thing probably puts out a nice little bit of heat. The hardwired microphonium, pretty cool, from Hallicrafters. And somewhere is a big speaker in that grill. Yeah, this is your utility radio. Not much to go wrong here. Turn it on and talk.
Yeah, this is the soft microphone. I wish it was. I didn't get a Microsoft one with it. I got an Echo Voice 727 ceramic on the thing. Seems to work pretty well with it. Like I said, it's of course got to hold that deal down on the front, or you can't talk. You talk to it as quiet as you can get. It's just a real neat old radio. I'm glad you checked it in. I told you I got my iPad working again. I don't know what she did, but whatever it's working. Sure like to see the radios. Back to you.
Yeah, well, this one, I hope it's not scaring anybody. Someone made a comment. It sort of looks like the Cyclops of radios. And I could see Paul Serling on the Twilight Zone using this radio to do something nefarious, coming at you in the dark. But it looks pretty friendly the way we've got it set up, and the sound is definitely friendly coming out. I see the on-off volume. Did you mention, does that even have a squelch control? I just see the one knob, so there's no squelch on that?
Come back on that, please.
You've got one knob that's the volume, and typically you'll have another knob that's squelch, but I don't even see a squelch control on that radio, so I'm thinking it does not have a squelch control. Over.
One knob for volume and off and on. That's it. And you get your magic eye, which works really good up there. It's told us it works the rest. Got a big red light on the front also, and a speaker to the right-hand top. On the back of the thing, it's kind of interesting. It's got 2-wire earphones connected to the thing, and it says it's got, can't figure out what it is. It says it's got a squelch. One thing I can trace it down, it just goes to a slide switch and turns off the front speaker. I don't know whether that's something that happens inside the radio or not, but that's your squelch. Back to you.
All right, so there is some type of a squelch circuit. It has good audio. It's nice and bright. It also has a lot of audio gain, and it doesn't exhibit the problems that you got on the later Hallicrafters, and I'm assuming it's just because it's set up correctly, that if you get into the microphone too much, it starts to flat top. I haven't heard any of that at all with this radio tonight. I'm looking, and I have an HT37. It is a radio that Hallicrafters made for amateur radio about that same time. I think it was just a couple years later. And I'm pretty sure that gray knob, that conical gray knob, is similar to what I have on my HT37 transmitter. And I think it's the same coloring as well. So very indicative of the late 50s, early 60s Hallicrafters, back when they were in Chicago, out of Chicago, Illinois. And the Radio Man's Radio. There are some of the old, thank you, Cornbread, some of the old Hallicrafters ads. So when you operate a Hallicrafters, you are a radio man there, Paul. Take a transmission. I'll check your frequency, but thanks for bringing it by. Always enjoy the Hallicrafters radios. Over.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to check.
My pleasure. Thanks for bringing it by. Check the crystal. That crystal's still hanging in there at 27 084.8, so about 200 cycles low. Looking good from the Hallicrafters Corporation. Somewhere around here I have a price list from Hallicrafters in 1970. One of my first AM/FM radios with the Hallicrafters FM 1000. My dad worked at Northrop Aircraft down in Southern California when I lived down there. And in the late 60s, Hallicrafters, I guess they sold, they started making their radios, importing them out of Japan, but they sold to Northrop Aircraft. And so anybody that worked at Northrop was an employee, became an employee of the company. So the price sheet I have from 1970 is the employee discount. Obviously, they don't have that radio. And I don't think they have any CB radios on there, but they did have the AM/FM FM 1000. And I've told the story before, but that was my first DX SWL portable radio. It had the greatest big slide rule dial on it, and it had an external antenna jack. And it ran off batteries where you could plug it in. So I had a lot of fun, late-night fun, DXing AM radio stations on that. Thanks for radio number 3, Paul, the Hallicrafters CB1. The jingle singers are ready to go, and they will remind you that you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we are listening for radio number 4.
Quick comment?
This is the quick comment frequency. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's WL 135 with a comment on the previous radio. The box is the box that Hallicrafters use for speakers. I know because I have one of those speakers on my SX-122 Hallicrafters. It's exactly the same box. Even the same weird, plastic pinhole grill cover kind of stuff is on there. And the squelch control is done with a screwdriver and a control in the back. All the way in the back of the radio, they expected you to just set it and forget it. That's where the squelch control is. So it is there, just not accessible from the front.
Wow, okay, because Paul said there was something in the back. That's interesting, the fact they didn't bother to bring it out to the front, or as you said, well, it's citizen band, and it's not really made for. You're going to have it sitting on the desk. You're going to be talking to Unit 1 to Unit 2, or it's going to be a business band thing, and you might just want to squelch it out completely. Can you imagine if it wasn't set right at the factory, you would turn that radio on and would hear nothing and think it was broken. Anyway, cool radio. Thanks for the update on the case. I knew it had to be something. I know they had some similar styles like that, but pretty cool. Someone must have said, we can get into the CB thing in 1959. What can we pull off the shelf and get out there? And it worked. The Magic Eye tube, I think, was a plus. And the push-to-talk bar, well, I don't know about that, but it looks like at least it gets you involved in the radio. Thanks. Also, let me go to the SWL list. Thank you, Brown Dog Audio. I was enjoying the radio so much, I missed your post. So I do believe if I go to page number 3, and we all go to page number 3, playing the home game, we will go to SWL 57, which I click right here. And there it goes, and I put that, and it says you are checked in. Thank you, and I hope all is going well in Central Kentucky.
Well, if nobody else wants to check one in, can I check this one in?
No, I think we are good. What is that? That's telling me my computer's going to blow up again. All right. Well, I think we'll make it through the program. And someone's inquiring about the Hallicrafters. Yeah, a single-channel radio. Notice there was no, and you can correct me, Cliff, there's no channel selector on that. So if you were wanting to change channels, there's not even an external crystal socket. You would have to go inside the radio and start unplugging stuff, right?
That is correct, sir.
All right, 9:31 or 6:31 or somewhere 31, wherever you might be, if you're live here at the Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. My name is Dennis, and we do what we do is hang out waiting for our tube radio operators to find something in their collection that's super cool. Of course, everything in their collection is super cool, and fire it up, put it on the air, and we can share it with you. Cliff is on with Radio 4 right now. Hello, Radio.
Okay. Is this working okay? Hello. I got a hello. Or no, that's audio. This is audio. Audio. Yeah, this actually does something if I do that. I guess it's sensitive to vowels. How's it sounding? Is this loud enough?
Yeah, your audio was very good. Now, there were a few of the SWLs that said, unless you do it 298 more times, it's probably not indicative of 11-meter test. But here for OTR, 1 or 2 or 3 audios are pretty good.
Okay. Hopefully I got enough of those in. According to my modulation light and the meter and everything, yeah, I appear to be pretty on frequency, and it appears to be talking. This is from B&K Electronics, the B&K Mark Cobra Cam 88, with a gray bass amplified D104 microphone, all 23 channels on this one, and the Dynaboost is on. Back to you.
All right, I was just about to say, this radio has some low-frequency stuff going on. It's full fidelity, and it reminded me of the B&K. I'm going to see, I got to check the Rolodex, where if it's under Cobra, I'm going to go to B&K, because that shows up first. The B's show up before the C's, and I do see a Cobra Cam 88, which I'll click on, and I see some various items. I think you're not in our Rolodex file. You probably have a picture of this on the Facebook site somewhere. So let me put on a picture courtesy of Mark, N5RPZ. If I click that, it comes up, and if I click that, it will show. Okay, it's dual. It's 2 radios, and I see what they're doing here, and this question will go out to you. There are 2 Cobras. They look the same, albeit one has a modulation light, and the other has a modulation light plus some type of a switch. Back to you.
Right. If I could figure out how to get the picture. Harvey took a really great picture of this one. If I could figure out how to get it up there for you, that would be great. I just email it to the administrator guy or what?
Yeah, try that. I'm kind of not that person, but try that and see if anything happens. Otherwise, we could probably work to get it up on the Facebook thing, which it makes it more difficult for me to get it, but at least it's somewhere. So I don't know who's uploading pictures these days. I'm not even sure if you can still do it. So as long as you've got the picture, as long as you've got the radio and we can hear it, that's a good thing. So back to you. You've got some Cobra radio fans and some people that know that you can do some awesome stuff with the audio on that B&K.
No, I hope so. There were some issues with the microphone being a bit too sensitive and too loud before. I think that issue has been remedied. Harvey was playing with it earlier today, and I think we were successful. Yeah, it's not overblowing like it used to. I remember before I had this same D104 cranked all the way down, and it was still like a bit too loud. This D104 is now cranked up about a quarter of the way, and it seems to be behaving normally. So I'm going to call it a success. If you call it a success, I can turn the mic up if I need to, or down. That said, the switch in question, which shows up in my picture, there were 2 versions of this. One version did not have the Dynaboost switch, and this version, and you'll see there's many others, do have a Dynaboost switch. This is one of those. And I'm going to demonstrate it to see how that goes, if I can find my way over here. Okay, Dynaboost is off. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, the mod light is not hardly doing its thing. Okay, and Dynaboost back on. 1, 2, 3, suffering sausages and happy sibilants to you. This is pretty gray and not one of my green radios, but again, it was one that Harvey and I messed with extensively today. And I just wanted to see if we got that straightened out. Does this seem to work pretty well, or do I need more, or what?
All right, it seems to work pretty well. Thanks for the test. I don't think you need more. That's the D104. D104 typically has a good high frequency, high mid response, and you've got a ton of lows that aren't muddy. They're not in the mud category. And you've got high frequency as well. So the microphonium choice is good. You could even brighten it up a little bit with probably a crystal element, but I think it would sound a bit thin. Thanks for the switch, because on my picture, all it says is off. It doesn't say that it does anything. It just says off. And then above that is the mod light. And indeed, I put up the Orban meter, and you did a nice 3 dB drop easily without the mystery switch. So on is a good thing. I would have supposed, like if you had it amplified or whatever, you'd have to kind of tap dance between on-off and the gain control. Doesn't sound distorted. I don't think you need any more. I don't have a good way of telling, modulation percentage. But for good fidelity and filling up the carrier with full, audio and full quieting, it's pretty much there. And 23 Skidoo says, save the wear and tear on the switch, leave the Dynaboost on at all times, which I'm sure is what you do.
Yeah, it seems to perform better with it on. I'm at a comfortable distance from the mic. I'm not all choked up on it. And if you remember before, I actually backed like arm's length away from it and talked really quiet just to keep it from overmodulating and flat topping. So this is and it's got a new battery in there. I should leave this alone. This is good.
This is good. That is good. No touchy. It's a good thing. Switch in the range boost position. The microphonium technique and everything is sounding great. So no problem with that. I think Dennis, or in fact I know Dennis SWL 77 had done, and I don't know what microphone he was using, but I know he ran it through an audio board or a Behringer or something, and they can sound really awesome. I'm not sure if there was any internal modifications on the audio circuit where they were changing the capacitors, but he had so much low frequency that he had to tame it down. So I'm thinking if you ever want to do the audio thing, that radio right there is the number one first one you might try something with, and you'll probably have to play with the EQ, because I'm thinking that at the factory they didn't do any of the big roll-off things like Browning did, so that it will not pass 200 hertz or below because they wanted it to sound like a Browning. This radio will probably pass any low frequency below 100 hertz that you can throw at it. So let's see. I'll go ahead and do a frequency check on this one. I think you said it was pretty close. We'll probably find that out, but good audio, so no need to touch a thing. If you see the mod light blinking, you're doing it right.
Yeah, that's the way it seems. Okay, yeah, that was the next thing I was
going to ask is how your freaky meter is reading me.
My freaky meter says it is very close to being right on. Oh, and again, on my particular radio, that switch is very clearly marked Dyna, as in D-Y-N-A boost, and below that is off. So it looks like on the picture you've got, I have seen that picture. I'm out here in the CB cabana, but I have looked at that picture. It looks like somebody actually cleaned it off or rubbed it off or something. But they are clearly marked on a lot of the radios. So how's that? Am I on frequency?
Yeah, all your radios are right the same. They're 27084.8. Very close. Boy, when I go to sideband, good, strong audio, that thing is probably very close to being 100% modulated with no problem. Your audio does not drop off at all. And I see what you're saying on the picture. Yeah, it looks like it almost looks as if it was some type of a Photoshop thing, almost, where somebody kind of scribbled it out. Maybe there's some markings, some things that said, somebody's call sign. It's like, no, we don't want that on there. But anyway, yeah, it makes sense that there should be some lettering or something on the mystery off switch. Cam 88. Who is it that sings the song, the wheels on the bus go round and round? Somebody said at one time that looks... Let me get the other shot here. It looks like a big school bus going down the road. Back to you.
I guess it's a kind of school bus shape. Anyway, yeah, I say Harvey took a really nice picture of it. It looks really good, and We'll have to figure out a way of getting the picture up there. If there are they accepting more pictures, or are they full?
I don't know. You'll have to try it. I can't answer that question. You'll have to see if something happens here. Give it a shot, and hopefully it'll get in there.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. I've emailed it to a few people, so a few people know what it looks like. I think I emailed one to Larry, and I emailed one to you, and Harvey, of course, and oh yes, and Harvey is the one I think who posted it on Facebook. And there are many pictures of radios just like it. Mine is in really good shape. It looks very nice. If maybe not, like right out of the box, fresh and new, but pretty darn close to it. Thanks for letting me check it in and do the tests. Looks pretty successful, I guess. We have tamed the Cobra, and now we will put it back in its basket.
Indeed. Sounding good, looking good. I just got informed the 98 is the school bus. Do I have a shot of that 98? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, same thing, but got a little bit more. A little bit fancier. I don't know. I'm looking at the 98 right now. They kind of put the silver black thing. That's pretty cool. And the switches are labeled. They add another switch, but I must say there is something also nice about the Cam 88. Let me go back to that, to which we're talking. Click on that. There it is. Sounding good in the audio from Cliff, Mr. Green Arrow for Radio 4. Great audio. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the replay on your old tube radio network.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again for letting me check it in. We'll hopefully catch you out here with another Green Radio next week. See ya.
All right, yeah, it is coming up that month. Green is a good thing. Levon, I think, made a comment about hadn't seen Chrissy and Dwayne in tonight. They checked in early. I think they are listening on their remote device, but probably won't be near a keyboard during the program, but they are out there listening and have checked in. And speaking of checking in, let's check in with the Jingle Singers here on your old tube radio network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we're listening for radio number 5.
45.
Ask and ye shall receive. Hello, Paul. 45 with Radio 5 at 9:45. And so maybe the radio you have has a 5 in it. Take a transmission, Paul. Over.
Okay. This is my Pierce Simpson CDB-5. That's Charlie Delta Bravo -5.
That's absolutely funny. I had no idea that you would be on a Radio 5. I tell you true. Pierce Simpson, let's see. I think we had someone that was wanting a Pierce Simpson radio to show up tonight, so we'll take anything. And then the CDB number 5, I know I've got a shot of that, and it might even be your radio. If I get the right picture up here. There it goes. Yeah, okay. I do remember this one. Take a transmission. This is a cool radio from the early 1960s. Go ahead. Over.
Okay. You notice that the microphone's almost as big as the radio. It's not my hardwired in, as you can see in the picture there. It's definitely a Pierce Simpson microphone, very large, and works pretty good. It looks like they're doing a good job on the meter anyway back here.
No, it's doing a good job. I'm going to check the frequency. I'm getting a tone coming in, but I think it's going on with the heterodyne. I see the channel control. The very mid-century modern design of the Pierce Simpson CDB-5, obviously for the 5 channels, and the microphone. So that's the original microphone. It looks like it's wired right in there. Maybe these are similar to what Sonar used to do, big microphones, and they always sounded good.
Yeah. Well, this is a neat little radio, I'll tell you that. It's really neat. Small, nothing to it really hard. There's nothing on the front end except that's what you see. That's it. No meter or nothing on that. But neat little radio, and looks like you're doing a pretty good job of the thing. It's got 5 crystals in it, so 117 volts, 12 volts each, so it's definitely go 12 volts. Yeah, on the mobile, so that's what it's for, I'm sure. It's got a mobile bracket on the thing, clips on. Very nice little radio. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having this in my vehicle if I had a vehicle I could put it into. Back to you.
Well, that would be something to do. I have a question. Did you take that photograph? It says it's from your collection. It is so perfectly placed, and it's got the map behind it. It almost looks like it's an advertisement for the radio. Over.
Yeah, I didn't get all that. You set up for the radio. Excuse me. I still got a lot of noise in here, but I'm pretty close to it. Back to you.
Yeah, I was complimenting the picture that you took. I'm assuming you took that photograph of the radio. I said it looks like something that Pierce Simpson would have put in their advertisement with that map of the world in the back.
The map and all that, and that's fireplace bricks on the outside there on the thing. I had the front out up to cover up the bricks.
All right, and let's see, who's our Florida station? Pierce Simpson Incorporated, Miami, Florida, USA. Don't have an address. Not sure if they're still making anything. Pierce Simpson may still be creating other pieces of gear. Obviously, I don't think they're still making CB radios. You know, it's earlier than I thought. My Rolodex is telling me that model, and I guess that could be correct. It's only 5 channels. There's no S meter. And I like the fact that they've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 where you could write the channel number on the little display case. Pretty cool. 1959 to 1961, $179.50. So kind of on the expensive side for radios, but the earlier radios were fairly expensive unless they were, like the CB1 where it's just an on-off switch. 5-channel crystal controlled transmit and receive universal transistorized 117-volt and 12-volt power supply. So you could take that mobile as well. 11-tube performance, super het, 1 and 2 RF stages, series noise limiter, adjustable squelch, carbon mic. So if you're on the original microphone, that is a carbon microphone, and you know what to do with carbon microphones when they start acting up. Link and Pi network output, pilot bulb output indicator, and you've got a built-in TVI traps, so you're not going to be messing with the neighbors when they're watching the Super Bowl. Over.
Okay, well, that makes it right there. It's 11-tube performance. I forget how many tubes you got in, but anyway, 11-tube performance. But it has 5 crystals, of course, 15 volts. And that's about it. Thanks for checking in, Dennis.
All right, I don't think, or did I? Did I check your frequency? I wanted to do that because I'm getting a heterodyne coming in with you. So take another transmission. I want to see where the frequency goes. Over. Okay, no, you're really close. You're really close on frequency, and I was hearing that tone in the sideband. So there is some little, I don't know what we call it, oscillation or a tone being generated. It is way underneath you, underneath your audio. But if you play it back, you'll hear that. I was thinking you were mixing with something, but maybe it is an anomaly of the radio. Very interesting. The radio number 5, Pierce Simpson, one of their first radios, 1959 through 1961, CB radio service. At the end of 1958, it would go mobile, it would go bass, from Miami, Florida, sounding good here in 2022. Thanks, Paul.
Definitely mobile, I would say, would be the whole situation. Yeah, mobile with a bracket. I wish I could show you the bracket. It's a well-built bracket. It's clips on and really strong. So definitely that's where it's set up for.
Yeah, and Pierce Simpson, I mean, from 1959 to what they were doing in the 1970s, I remember looking at some of the brochures, and the Pierce Simpsons were always some of the greatest radios that you wanted, but you couldn't afford on a high school budget. To the Pierce Simpson Simbo with a clock and just rows of knobs. Let's see, Uncle Gunter says, yeah, they built the Super Cheetah model mobile radio, 240 channels, AM, FM, SSB before 1990, so they probably did quite well in the CB market before things kind of crashed and people lost interest. But as people were gaining interest back in the 1960s, they were right there. Sounding good, Paul. Thanks.
Thanks for checking in, Dennis.
You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark, and some pretty cool radios tonight.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz.
your dial. That's
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio,
in wonderful.
Fresno, California.
Wonderful Fresno, California. And as Cornbread would say, did someone say Fresno? I'm looking for radio number 6. Hello, radio. All right, we'll keep with our theme of, 60 and 6. And, well, I can't put in any 6 on my time unless I write UTC, and then it's 6:53. So that'll be good enough. Hello, radio.
Thank you there, Dennis. I'd like to check in. Since it's been such a colorful evening on radios, I'd like to check in my little base. Possibly mobile. I think it's mobile. I don't have a cord to prove that. But this is my Hustler base from World Radio Labs. I think it's 7 tubes and 8 channels.
7 tubes and 8 channels. Probably. I don't know of many of the older radios that would go lower than 7 tubes. They had a lot of, 11, 12, even when you got sideband in there, maybe 13 tube radios. But the 8 channels is a good thing. I'm trying to find the shot. There it is. World Radio Labs. And who was it that said, we seem to be having radios with the microphones wired in? And here is yet another one tonight. The early radios were like that. I have a feeling that a lot of manufacturers weren't making microphones, for the radios that caught on. It might have been easier. It might have been cheaper not to have a mic connector in there, just one little thing to drill a hole in the case and stick another piece in there that cost 39 cents to bring the price of the radio up. And maybe, on the early radios, they thought, this is citizen band radio. People aren't going to be swapping microphones. They're just going to be pushed to talk, and then they walk away from the radio. Little did they know that it was going to become a very cool hobby, even though it wasn't supposed to be. Take a transmission. We've had green tonight, so why not have a little blue? Back to you.
Oh, yeah. Doggone it, we have a little blue on the face and a little gray on the sides. Pretty nice looking little radio. And I guess they had got it all figured out. 7 tubes, so it didn't require a big box. I guess you could get a couple of these in a shoebox. But doggone it, we wanted the opportunity to check this one in, Dennis. I don't think we could go the evening without checking it in. This has a little squelch, a volume, a spotter switch. In fact, I kind of tuned you in a little bit. Awesome carrier. And we are on channel 3, which would be channel 11.
Yeah, well, I guess you could put it into number 1, right? Make channel 11 the number 1 channel. I was trying to see if I could find some information about Mr. Leo Meyerson from World Radio Labs. 1935, Meyerson, an ARRL Life member, founded Wholesale Radio Laboratories. All right, Wholesale Radio Laboratories, the forerunner to World Radio Labs in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Who's our Iowa station out there tonight? Take a stand for Council Bluffs. For his contributions to amateur radio, Meyerson was named the 1997 Ham of the Year at Dayton Hamvention. And here is one of his radios that might have made some of the ham operators not so happy. But Leo knew that, 11 meters was a ham band. It required radios, so why not take the Wholesale Radio Laboratories, the World Radio Labs, and make something that will work? And the coolness is it's 2022, and we're talking about that radio, and we're talking about Leo Meyerson, and we're having some fun with CB Radio. Back to you.
Yeah, yes, we are, Dennis. Doggone it, they didn't overdo it. They didn't make a huge box. Like I say, it's a small radio, kind of compact. It would kind of look nice in a car. It wouldn't take up a whole lot of room. Doggone it, I imagine with a good hand mic, not a desk mic, of course. And I have the original mic to this, and it is blue. I guess that would go nice under the console of like a 1959 Ford, good heavy body, something you could screw some bolts into, and it wouldn't look like it would take too much room up. But anyway, Dennis, thank you for letting me check this one in, because I think I smell another one kind of cooking here.
All right, we'll bring it up. Let's see. I'll say one more thing about Leo Meyerson and the company, because I love the history that these radios were, back. Companies 1935, 45, CB Radio comes in. Leo Meyerson, working with the World Radio Labs. He also formed several related companies. Globe Electronics. There are a lot of Globe CB radios. Rob SWL number 3 probably had collected almost all of them. Introduced one of the first citizen band radios in the mid-1950s, it says. I think that's incorrect. The Globe Scout, the Globe King transmitters were big ham radio, 500-watt boat anchor beasts. Their facility was the 3400 block of West Broadway out there in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So good stuff. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for the Hustler. Thanks for the Radio Hustler, or thanks for the Hustler, Radio Hustler is what I should say, radio number 6, and the Old Tube Radio standing by, because he's got another one ready to go.
Thank you, Dennis.
And we are listening for Radio 7.
Oh my God. So no one can hear me on the low meter.
KB650. I think we were hearing you. I heard a carrier, but there was no audio. So give it a try. If not, I will get you checked in. But I think you're transmitting. It just there was no audio. So check the loop meters. KB650.
Hey, Dennis. How about this one?
Hey, this is the Basic Dennis. Yeah, let's throw in a Radio 7. I think we have a couple more they're going to quickly fire up here, so we want to get to them. Tell us about, in 25 words or less, that's on your 3x5 card that you have in front of you there. Tell us about radio number 7. Over.
Okay. This is the Browning R2700A receiver and the compact transmitter. It's got 11 channels transmit, crystal control, and it's 23 channel or so tunable receive. 10 channels are inside crystals and 1 external to make 11, and that's where number 11 is.
And it's compact, meaning it's not big, but it's probably, if you've looked inside enough, it's probably just like all the other stuff, all the other Brownings, like the S9 maybe, but they crammed everything in. They didn't leave anything out, did they?
Well, yes, they did. They left out the power supply of the compact. No power supply. It gets its electricity from the receiver. So it can't be a standalone transmitter. It has to be hooked up to a receiver to get its power. They did that along with, I think, the T2700 or the T2700S. I can't remember which one of those two is the one without the power supply. One has power supply, which might be the S model, S standing for supply, and then the 2700 did not have the power supply. But possibly your fact checker can check that. I could check it myself, but I can't get over to the cabinet that's got the brochure in it that tells me. Anyway, this is one of the older ones that I have, and I thought I'd bring it by. The microphone is an unamped D104, and I'll check one other in a little bit.
Okay, I don't know if Browning ever had a microphone just wired into the radio, but that seems to be the big thing tonight. All right, we'll put you down as Radio 7. And what was the model number? Was it the 2700 or the 2700A? Over.
What was the question again?
On your receiver, was it the 2700 or the 2700A? Over.
The 2700A and the S9 transmitter.
All right.
A lot of people put a mic plug on the front, and somebody did that to mine, but it looks pretty good. It was originally, the mic wire came out of the lower left back of the chassis from the back. When you looked at it from the front, it was in the lower left back. And so that one was wired internally, no plug. Now, I'm not sure about the T2700 or the T2700F. I can't quite remember whether they have mic plugs. But the compact always did come with it. Compact transmitter, no meter, but does have an on-the-air light that moves with your modulation, which also means in this model, I believe, that if that bulb goes out, you have no transmit.
Oh, wow. So that's actually in the circuit. My guess is you've got to be careful when you change that bulb then.
Oh, yes. Some people have done that to the R20, to the S23 with that big window, so that they take the light bulb, they rewire it into the final circuit, so that when you key up, it goes on and moves with your voice. I had one transmitter that was like that, and when I started to work on it, that son of a gun bit me. So I went, what? And then I looked at it, and I said, oh, okay. So I changed it back the way it was. Also, in the Browning Drake, I think 523 and 506, I think it's 6th channel, that contraption, the light bulb is part of the circuit. I was working on one without the light bulb in, because I figured I'll do that later, and I could not get that thing to key up. So I traced the keying circuit right back to the light bulb. and had to put a bulb in, and then it worked. So they did experiment with something like that. That's why somebody did it to the R27. They figured out that they could do something like that. Okay, back to you.
All right, thanks, Harvey, for that. The compact sounding good. Let me get back to the control room here. It's getting late, so I want to get the other radios that are going to be checked in. I would have got a couple of SWLs, SWL 78 from Wildemar. Richard is in. Richard, I think I heard you the other day on, it was one of the nets. I think it was 7242 or 7248. So I didn't give you a call because it was during the net. But anyway, you had a big single here in Fresno, and late morning 40 meters sounding good, and big signal 78's checked in as well. And there was, I wanted to put a call out because we had a station trying to check in, and it was Mike on the radio 47. Now, if you're out there, give it a shot.
Well, we're going to go to Old Faithful, or at least semi-Old Faithful, hopefully. This one's working?
Yeah, that one's working fine. Business, over.
All right. Well, good evening from the radio lounge where we're checking in, and checking in an old tube radio that does not have a variable receive. This is a Robin T123 for your listening pleasure, with not a lot of knobs and apparently relatively speaking, not a lot of things that can go wrong with it, unlike a Browning. I just tried to check it a while ago.
Oh, all right. Well, it certainly keyed up, but there was no audio. And the Brownings, typically, you only have, two or three wires. So if you got one, there's probably only one wire that you need to look at that ain't working to get the audio in there. But you got to be talking about getting bit. You got to be careful when you are working on the microphone circuit on a Browning, because there is a lot of voltage there, and you will get bit. Radio number 8 at 10:09. The Robin T123. If I heard you correctly, you should have a magic eye winking and blinking. Give us another transmission before we go on to the next item. But that's working just fine, so don't change a thing on that one. Over.
Okay, good. Well, yes, as you mentioned, the Magic Eye tube, and I always get these confused. I think it's a 6RE13. I could be wrong. It's a vertically kind of oriented Magic Eye tube. It's working great, especially with this amplified D104 that I'm using on there. The other radio I was attempting to check in, I thought I'd be different. I don't think I've used my Browning in a while. But it was kind of peculiar. It had a variable receive. I would have to kind of fish around. I'd be listening to the show, and then moments later I'd have to retune the receiver, and then it back and forth just to hear the show. But I can't tune the receive on this thing because it's not what you see is what you get, but what you hear is what you get. You can't fiddle around with a VFO on this thing.
True. It's going to click stop, and that's the way they wanted it. I think you're correct on the Magic Eye tube in the front. The other Magic Eye radio was our Hallicrafter CB1 with, what is it, 65 something. I think it's something like that. It's a very short number tube, but this is one of the other styles, and it sounds good. Radio number 8, you are. Thanks for hanging in and at least finding another radio for us as you were in the radio room. We appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to even check this in. And if you don't mind, before I get out of here, I just have a question. I have no recollection of where this radio is manufactured. I know, I think the comment was made that this kind of shared a Panasonic, unless I'm mistaken, chassis. But I couldn't even tell you, and I'm embarrassed to admit it, I can't even tell you if this is assembled in America or somewhere else. Do you have a comment you can make on that?
I will put out a query for that, and I'm not sure if 23s could do who is wondering, does anybody remember about the mic gain on Panasonic radios? But was the Robin 123, which I don't think has a lot of resemblance to the 123B, a Panasonic chassis? Was it something that was made in the USA before they started looking for import radios? That would be a good question. So we'll find that out. Now, my guess for the mic gain thing, just to get super off topic, I want to say that one of the Lafayette radios had a mic gain on it. That might have been one of the Panasonic chassis, but whether this was or not, and it doesn't have a mic gain anyway, so we'll find out. See if we can see if that's an import radio. My quick item that I have says nothing. And although it's on Sam's CB35, so it's book 35, page 95, and I'm not even sure if they would say anything as well about that. So we will hopefully find out at some point.
Okay, awesome. Well, whatever the verdict is, everyone sounds great. On this one, the receive is working great, and I was kind of doing a back-to-back between this and the Browning, and I know this is sacrilege, and I'm sorry, I hope I don't offend anyone, but in the current configuration of these particular radios, and again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but the receive on this guy is really nice. I think it's the best out of any radio I've got in the shack right now. Again, there's probably something going on with the Browning, but everyone sounds great on this one. Again, the 123-bit. So thanks for letting me check it in, and there it is.
Wherever you go, there you are, and there it is. Sounds good. It's Radio 8, the Robin T123B at 13 minutes after the hour. What was the other comment I was going to make? I don't know. Let me see. Was there another station? Let me get the stations. Oh, okay. 23 Skidoo saying that he can't confirm that it is a Panasonic, but he can confirm that there was a Cardone Spitfire twin to it. Aha! And it may have been a Robin design before they went with Panasonic. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is different enough to be super early. All right. Let's see. Where are we going? Oh, any other stations that need to get checked in here before we count an amount and sign out? I think there was a couple that wanted to get in.
60.
Yeah. Let's take you on Radio 9 at 10:14. I know you were warming up a couple there, and I'll go over to my Rolodex and tell us what you got. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. This is the Johnson Messenger 223, and I am on my original stock desk mic, and this is an 11-tube base radio.
Okay, the Messenger 223, I have one over my left shoulder here that is up and running. We'll get a close-up shot for those watching the video or looking at the pictures to go with your next transmission. So back to you.
Thank you much. Doggone it, I enjoy keying this one up. I've always admired the radio itself, its durability. On mine, on the case, I was going to ask you if yours on the top of both sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, does it have 5 holes at the top of the case?
Does it have 5 holes at the top of the case? All right, this picture... Oh, you know what? I bet I know that might be some things to put your little screwdriver through. Let me see if the other picture shows the top of the case. No, it doesn't. All right. I'm going to jump out of the air chair. I'm going to go over, and I'm going to look at the top of my case. No. I looked at the top of the case. It is... Oops. Try not to break things here. It is clean. It is the nice little perforated case. So my guess is there are probably some adjustments in that area. Does it look like you get a screwdriver through those holes?
Yeah, it'd be about the size for a screwdriver, a small screwdriver. Well, you know, when I next time I take it off there to clean it off, to clean it up, brush off the tubes and stuff. I will check. I know that it's not mounting brackets because this is a base radio. It won't go mobile.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make sense that it would be mobile bracket up there. But, yeah, there could be some adjustments. That's sort of a no-no, I suppose, but it makes it easier to, you don't have to pull the case off. Sometimes they actually they put little holes in the case so you could get a screwdriver in there. Or my Regency Imperial had holes in the side of the case, and then the screwdriver adjustments were placed so that you didn't have to do that through the top of the case. Very good. You've got Radio 9. It's the Messenger 223, which was the Messenger 2 with all 23 channels, an S meter. Same configuration. They turn it sideways, put it in a cool case, and between 1968 and 1972, E.F. Johnson sold a lot of those, and they're still going strong in 2022, as you will prove with your next transmission. Thanks for bringing it by, Joe.
Thanks, Dennis. Doggone it. Not just going strong, it's still looking good. For sure. I love the features on the front. Okay, Dennis, for a minute there, I'll just change coax. We'll get the last radio in.
All right, sounding good, the Messenger 223. Let's see, why I have the camera here. As always, I forgot to do this. Our sponsor tonight, as I populate the pocket protector, is a very cool pen with kind of a floating, I'll see if I can see that, the General Electric Supply Company at 204 East Willard Street, 6613 Muncie, Indiana. Was there ever a song about Muncie, Indiana? No, that was Gary, Indiana. Yeah, I was thinking Muncie, Indiana. No, it's Gary, Indiana. Here's the floating goo. If you see it, as you tilt it up and down, I know this autofocus is not working, but it's got that little, I don't know what that is. It's probably some type of extremely toxic oil. So I will try not to spill it as I put it in the pocket protector. All right, I'm standing by to get in another check-in before we get out of here. OTR.
60.
Hey, oh boy, that's got some big audio. Take a transmission.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. This is my 1, 2, 3. Oh boy. My Robin, 123B.
All right, sounding good. Do we have a 123B tonight? No. We had the Cardone. We had the other ones. So Panasonic chassis, here we go. I'll give the close-up as you... let's see. Do you remember how long ago you got that radio?
It's been now a year. Let's just say about a year. It hasn't been very long, but doggone it, yeah, it's been about a year, and I know we've had a little trouble with it here the past couple of weeks on the microphone. I've tried to spray and not overspray the situation here on the contacts, but I may have to look deeper into it.
All right, well, it's doing okay. So if you don't look at all, no problems there. Nice, strong audio. And I remember, I asked because I remember when you first brought it by, and I couldn't remember. I can remember when you brought it by, but I can't remember when you brought it by, if that makes any sense. Was it 2021, 2020? And that's why I asked, because I know you have worked on that and changed some audio stuff. And as it's checked in progressively, I guess I could go back to the archives and listen to its progress in the audio department. Super loud, nice, great audio. That could be, if you were just an AM guy, that would be could be your daily driver on any and all of the channels that it actually performs on. I will go back to you for another transmission. The hour is getting late. You are Radio 10, so you put us up into the double digits, and that's a good thing. Back to the Robin T123 Bravo.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yeah, this would be my base radio if I was on the tube and back in the day there for sure. I have heard and seen people on YouTube. I love the way the radio operates and with power and so forth. But this would be a nice little setup, being that it has extra channels. It's not just a straight 23. There's 10 extra channels in the works here, so yeah, I would be pleased. Thanks for letting me check this one in, Dennis.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for checking it in. Counting and amounting. Let me go to the jingle singers. If anybody's got a radio, we'll take it after the jingle here. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
One more.
Two more.
All right. Radio 11 will go to Harvey. Radio 12, we will go to Mike. Harvey, take it away.
Browning, Golden Beagle, R68T68 from Browning Laboratories. Okay, since Mike's waiting and you gotta go to sleep, that'll be it for me tonight. We'll catch you next week.
All right, R68T68 sounding good as always. And I will comment that tonight you sound very chipper. So I'm assuming you didn't get a super long day at the salt mines today. As he falls asleep.
No, I concur with that statement.
Yeah, anyway, Harvey, sounding good, and I appreciate Radio 11 from out there in the not-so-west side. Let's head over to Mike on... Did you get the Browning to work? You got something to work, over.
No, I had my fill of failure for this evening. But no, I thought because someone else checked in a 123B as in Bravo, I just had these flashbacks of those old double mint gum commercials. So I thought I'd just immediately check in my Robin 123B as well, which is reminding me with a rather lethargic modulation lamp that, man, I've got to... I should have had more coffee or espresso before I tried to check this one because it looks like it looks. I don't know what it sounds like, but it looks like I'm not putting out that much audio.
Well, it sounds pretty good for the carrier. I'm going to put up the meter in the Orban. The green radio is doing its thing, but take another transmission. I think you're good.
Okay, well, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is what it sounds like when the lamp basically does almost nothing. That's pretty pathetic here.
Not too bad, still 18. And, I have that carrier tone in there. There's something in my radio. I've got some mixing or something that's putting carriers in there. Nothing wrong with your radio. I'm just talking to myself here, trying to figure out what that tone is. That's not from your radio. You're good. You could talk louder, but I don't think it would sound any different. There would be no need to do that. Over.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, this radio is definitely not for the faint of heart, but it's still fun to use. It definitely. I think the only other comment I could make about it this evening is. It's probably one of the prettier radios I have in my collection. No, it doesn't have the Magic Eye tube from the previous Robin I checked in, but the transmission light, the TX light, is really nice. I think it's blue, and it really looks good when I key up here.
Well, it's got some mod that way. I definitely say you're not 100% modulated. What is the microphone that you're using?
No, that's a good question to ask. It's what I think is a stock Robin mic. It's definitely unamplified. I think it's a stock mic. It came with this radio, and it's. I was making comments on the way this radio looks. The microphone really, really good too. No, very little scratches, and. Yeah, I definitely like looking at it. In the middle of the microphone itself. There's a little, it says Robin. There's a teeny medallion that says Robin, and it always looks like something weird. I guess it's a robin. You got to practically have your magnifying glass checked out, but there's little birds flying around, and it says robin in the middle of the unamplified mic.
All right, I would say so, because I can tell the proximity effect. When you back off the mic, your audio drops off severely. So the main thing is just to stay close, and modulation percentage will be good. A D104 on that might bring out the highs a little bit. Amplification might do it as well, but what you've got and the way it runs is just fine. If the band was really noisy, maybe that's a different thing. But it's nice and smooth and sounds good. You just got to play into the microphonium. Radio number 12, the Robin T123 Bravo. Thanks for bringing it by. Going to do some counting and amounting here, and let our SWLs. Who are staying up late, it's Sunday morning at various locations, but the radios are keeping them at the speakers, so thanks. And indeed, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Do I have a fanfare? Do I have a something that would let people know?
Ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
Time now for the current OTR totals.
The current final totals. And a big fanfare it is. I will be heading over to the green room shortly. There is plenty of stuff going on. There wasn't a lot of people coming in tonight in the green room, so I think they're going to have a lot of extra food. So maybe you can take home one of those little styrofoam bags of something on your way out. 12 radios checking in tonight. On the SWL front, we had 13 on page 1. 18 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and 32. It's like almost all of page 4 checked in tonight. For a total of 79 SWL check-ins. On radios, we had 12, did pretty good with some very early style radios, and a lot of, someone noted a lot of radios checking in.
Could there be one more radio?
A lot of radios checking in with the microphones totally wired in. I don't know. There could be probably a lot of radios checking in, but so far we have 12 tonight. Let me pause just a moment.
There's room for one more radio.
Are you listening 40? Over.
Yes. If you guys can wait about 5 minutes, I can plug in one more radio.
All right. Well, I'm not sure about 5 minutes. I'm going to read the list. As I'm reading the list and your radio's warming up, and we get to number 12, I will unkey and we'll see if we can't add a lucky number 13 radio to that. We're going to start where we always start, and that's radio number 1 tonight, the Tram TR27E from Mr. Ed. Big Green Radio, sort of starting off our month of March, where we have our tube radio operators that look and search out their green radios as it sort of crescendos up at St. Patty's Day. The Magic Eye tubes, the green radios, you will be hearing more from them in future episodes of the Old Tube Radio Network here in March. Mr. Green Arrow on the Cardone Spitfire Mark XL. Sounds like one of those puppet cartoons. Wasn't there, I don't remember who did those. It wasn't Sid and Marty Krofft, but it was the, it was Fireball XL5. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking the XL. But this is the Cardone Spitfire, the Panasonic version by way of Japan and by way of Canada. And sounding good tonight. Very interesting radio. I like the big light treatment they did with that. Thanks, Cliff, for bringing that by. Oh, where did we go? Oh, we went to the very cool Hallicrafters CB1, 1959. Paul on Hallicrafters' first foray into Class D 11-meter radio. They had been, of course, making radios for 11-meter use on other non-Class D stuff, but found some spare parts on the shelf, and away they went, making a nice CB1 for your 1959 radio pleasure. After that, radio number 4, Green Arrow on the B&K Cobra Cam 88, not to be confused with the 98, but the Cam 88 sounding good on the supplied microphonium and their full fidelity audio. Thanks for bringing that by. Love to hear it on a different microphone sometime as well. See what it would do. Radio number 5, Paul on the Pierce Simpson, Charlie Delta Bravo number 5, one of their first radios for Class D 11 meter. Sounding pretty good. Very cool, very artistic, nice mid-century modern styling on that. It looks like it was brand new out of the box. Thanks, Paul. Enjoyed that one. Radio number 6, the Hustler from World Radio Laboratories. WRL Leo Meyerson, Council Bluffs, Iowa, and Clovis all pairing together to get us radio number 6. Thanks, Joe. Radio 7, Harvey on the R2700 and the Compact, the Browning Eagle Compact transmitter, where they figured a way to make it smaller by taking out the power supply. I don't know why you would need it smaller, but back in the 1960s, you might need a little radio table space. Radio number 8, the TRC, no, not the TRC, the T123. The TRC is the radio that Mike used to check in on like 15 years ago, the TRC 217, I think it was. But this was the T123 Robin with the Magic Eye number 2 for Radio 8. Radio number 9, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223 from Joe. Joe also came by with the Robin T123 Bravo. Nice and loud with that for Radio 10. From the West Side, Harvey, Radio 11, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68, or is the Browning Golden Beagle. I didn't hear it bark, but I think he gave it a milk bone. Radio number 12, the Robin T123B from Mike, and that puts the Robins at 3. And I don't see any other radio manufacturers that have 3 radios come by tonight. Of course, one is enough, but we'll always have a little competition to see who the most heard manufacturer is. And tonight it would be the Robins. I'm going to take a quick break on my transmission here to see if there's perhaps one more radio at 10:33 Pacific Standard Time that wants to be on the list. Hello, radio.
Breaker OTR.
Okay, now that sounds very interesting. It sounds like you're talking through an amplified megaphone out the window. So take a transmission.
Citizens, do not be afraid. Turn this down. Yes, this is SWL40 on an old tube radio.
Well, tell us about that old tube radio, and be careful. Do not turn the microphone up anymore because it's starting to get distorted.
Yes, the meter is moving very nicely forward on my end here. Yes, this is a GTX 5000 40-channel CB transceiver made by Gemtronics.
All right, I think that is the 3rd generation Panasonic chassis because it's 40 channels. It has some very interesting audio. It doesn't sound like Gemtronics, unless what microphone are you using? It sounds like you're talking through an amplifier into a microphone. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, well, it's at sitting at a very bizarre angle. But the microphone is a Turner Plus 3.
Wow, all right. That's an interesting place. Did you change the element in it?
No, I didn't do anything with it, and it's using the same old battery it's had for several months.
Okay, no, it's got plenty of audio. Just it has kind of a strange boominess to it and that low frequency that you kind of don't want. But it sounds okay. I can hear it. It's nice and loud, and it's glowing in the dark. So we put it down as Lucky Radio 13 tonight.
Yeah, I should say my room is a bit empty right now, so you might be hearing some of the background echoiness off the a smoke-stained brick wall.
Well, all right. Well, hopefully it's not on fire. You can hear the replay. It sounds good. I hear a little room echo, but it's just the EQ on that element almost sounds like it's seen better days. You never know, but it's good. The Gemtronics GTX 5000, according to the history, one of 6 of the 3rd generation Panasonic all 40-channel models from probably 1976 through 1978, 79, 80, until they sold them all and didn't make them anymore. But you've got one, and we've got it here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Give us one more transmission. Thanks for your extra effort to give us one more radio. It definitely is still working.
Oh, and everybody with more than one Old Tube radio should send their spare radios to the country of Ukraine, because they really need some help over there. All right, Estibil 40 signing off.
All right, well, you made it on the list, sounding good. A lot of you made it on the list. A lot of you made it to listening in tonight. We will be here supposedly next week on your Old Tube Radio Network, glowing in the dark. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Thanks for our tube radio operators who take time out of their busy evening, their busy schedules. Maybe they even sort of sneak into the radio room and no one knows there's gone until they check in and they get in trouble. But I hope you don't get in trouble. That would not be a good thing. We have done this for so long. If you got in trouble, we don't care. Just make sure you check in your radio. Thanks, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network. We will see you next week. As always, staying up late on a Saturday night, Sunday evening with the Tube Radios. The archive is up at oldtuberadio.net for the replay. Likewise, the video as well. And let's see, 1977 for the GTX 5000. Late 78 for the Cardone, but that was after 1976. You could not sell or manufacture, I think, a 23-channel radio. Very strange that the FCC just sort of banned the whole thing and kind of threw all the manufacturers in this topsy-turvy thing. Good night to all, and we will catch you next time on your Old Tube Radio Network. Oh, yeah, and the Panasonic Mic Gain Challenge, let me bring that up. I really thought, but I can't name, see, that's kind of bogus, right? I thought one of the Panasonic radios had a mic gain on it, like either the 25A or the 25B or maybe the 35. And I thought those might have been Panasonic chassis, but I can't for sure say, yeah, I know it was there. But that would be my guess, that there's a Lafayette radio out there with a mic gain. But we know the two were the one that came by tonight, the Cardone Spitfire Mark XL. So perhaps we should extend the challenge, or that would all give us time to try and find the answer. But from what I understand, what 23 Skidoo is hinting at is it's going to be a very difficult 3 radios to figure out. Uncle Gunter, thanks for stopping by tonight. We'll listen in. I think the last time, I can hear people talking with you, but I don't think I've heard you yet on the West Coast. I remember Mal in C4L, you're checking in on the hole in the wall net, but I haven't been listening a lot lately, so I will tune up my ears to see if I can't hear that one nice voice beaconing into the Central California area.
You still doing the net, Dennis?
Well, I just signed off basically, but we're still up and running.
You give me a minute to warm it up.
This is the give me a minute frequency. Yeah, take 2 or 3 minutes. We can bring in the tap dancers. The jingle singers are still here. Do they want to do another one? You know, the jingle singers working overtime. Okay, they say yeah. The jingle singers are saying, pick any tune you want, gang, and we'll be right back on your Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OT 7.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Wow, they brought in the whole gang there. They've got a lot of energy as we approach the 11 o'clock hour. And apparently they're excited about the possibility of checking in yet another radio. So we'll hang out here for a minute or two. We don't want to damage any tubes by having them, prematurely key up before they have reached their operating temperature, whatever that might be. So the Old Tube Radio Network will be standing by. We're not counting and amounting. We're, twiddling our thumbs. How about that?
K6VLF, ready.
And, we're waiting for, radio number 14. So a good night was had by most. I'm trying to anticipate. I'm going to think that the radio that we're waiting for is actually a very popular radio here in the Old Tube Radio Network. It's a General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, the last FCC-type accepted radio that General Radio Telephone put out. They put it on MC12, but I don't think they could get type acceptance from that. They also... my SWR is cranked up again. There we go. I must have an antenna issue. Let me do that. I bet that... Is the radio liking that? I'm going to have to go... Yeah, that's not good. I'm going to have to go check my coax here. This latest storm is not treating the radio right.
Hello, radio. Hello.
Yeah, I've got a problem here. Doing a little tweaking on my thing. I must have an antenna issue. Yeah, tell me about the radio before I blow mine up.
Okay, Dennis, I would like to check in my General Radio Telephone, Super MC11A, 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark, running the original handheld stock microphone, and it shows that everything is working up to snuff here. See, yes, the tubes, I can feel the warmth coming off, so it's okay. And this is SWL37, over.
All right, you did good. We've got a radio. We're up to 14. I'm going to take a quick transmission because my radio's got some bad SWRs here, so I'm going to have to check some coax jumpers and antennas and things like that. Thank you, Chris.
You betcha, Dennis. Now I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, me too. I got to check out stuff. So thanks, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network standing by. And let's see. Okay, next week we're going to get a clue on the amplified... microphone gains for the Panasonic radios. Okay, I'm going to study up on this because I definitely need a clue.
All right, don't turn everything off yet. The gentleman I talked to here Thursday out there in Ohio, I would like to thank you for getting in touch with me. Keep your ears open. Holler for me on this on the channel you know, SWL37, otherwise known as 241 on the other ones. Hopefully we will talk to you again soon. God bless. Take care. SWL37, we're clear.
All right, no doubt. Probably be out there beaconing and listening. And all right, there we go. Still working on the match here. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. And good night, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Good night, Dennis, and thanks a whole bunch.
KB6 GFD. All right, this is sort of kind of still working. At least not everything's broken.
This is the no antenna required frequency, K3TEB.
I kept hearing my headphones. It's like I don't have as much audio, and I looked over. It's like, whoa, the SWR is not good. So I have to see what is going on. We had a lot of wind here today, so I'm hopefully nothing blew off the roof. Maybe I'm transmitting to nowhere. My question was the amplified microphones. You said Panasonic chassis, so we're talking about CB radios, right? All those would be CB radios. I'm just making sure
that is correct. There is a. I mean, I can certainly fill you in here if you don't want to know. Say so, but otherwise, I'll kind of give you both the answer and then tell you why it is the way it is.
No, do not tell me. I just want to make sure it wasn't a trick question that I missed at the beginning or something. I was going to scroll up the screen and make sure I didn't misspeak on what was, but I thought, well, no, it should be all what I would call, 11-meter CB radios you can buy or that you would hear. All right, well, that's enough. I thought maybe I misinterpreted the original question.
No, not at all. So one of the things I did as I've been researching all the various Panasonic radios is basically catalog all the attributes of the radios into standard categorizations. So detail on whether they had a range boost and whether they called it range boost or range expand and things like that. So for every Panasonic radio that I've uncovered, I can just very quickly look in the database and see how many of them had exactly which features. And when you take a look at the universe of Panasonic that way, it's pretty easy to see, hey, look, this one and this one and these all have mic gains and nobody else has that. And if it had a mic gain, then this other feature went away. And so that's how I was easily able to kind of point out the difference between the 240D and the